DW Africa Link News.
Ghana's President Akufo-Addo has delivered his final State of the Nation address to the country's parliament before he exits the top job on January 6. He used the speech to largely highlight his government's achievements over the past 8 years and also say his goodbyes. Maxwell Suk in Ghana has more.
President Akufo-Addo will be leaving the presidency next week after 8 years in power. Since his party lost the 2024 general elections, he has largely focused his speeches on highlighting what he believes have been the positive achievement of his presidency. And his speech in Parliament today follows similar format. But what would Ghanaians remember about his government?
I think he would go out as the bad government. It is in his regime I've experienced bad governance, nepotism, corruption, skyrocketing of dollar rates.
The positive side, he was able to introduce free SHS, which millions of Ghanaians benefited from it. And then the negative aspect is he was running a family and friends government. And then he almost ruined the democracy of this country.
As a human being, he also has his downside. For example, he didn't listen much to Ghanaians, especially when they wanted him to change some of the ministers. He delayed in changing them, even though he changed some of them, but he delayed.
South Africa has joined forces with neighboring Zimbabwe to prevent illegal border crossings into the country. According to media reports, South Africa's Border Management Commissioner assessed its readiness ahead of the end of the festive season. The Beitbridge border post between the two countries is a critical gateway linking South Africa with the Southern African Development Community region. A crime-fighting campaign was launched this week to address pressing challenges. In the past, the border has been a hot spot for illicit activities, including the smuggling of illegally imported goods. An increased number of vehicles and people are expected towards the end of the weekend. A manhunt has been launched to try and find 13 suspects who were freed from police custody by a drunk police officer. The detective inspector said the suspects freed to celebrate the new year. He was later arrested but fled custody. The detainees were accused of crimes such as assault, robbery, and burglary. A police spokesperson told reporters that the drunken officer forcibly seized cell keys from a colleague on New Year's Eve. He then unlocked both the male and female cells and told the suspects to leave because they were free to cross over in the new year. According to media reports, 13 out of 15 suspects in custody escaped. On the international scene, South Korean investigators have failed to carry out an arrest warrant against impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol after arriving at his residence to execute it. South Korea's Yonhap news agency reported that they faced resistance upon arrival and were then locked in a nearly 6-hour-long standoff. The investigators entered the presidential residence through heavy security barricades. Yonhap reported that the attempts to proceed were hindered by a military unit inside the compound. After managing to move past the unit, they were confronted by the Presidential Security Service, still protecting the impeached president. And that's all we've got time for today. Thank you for joining me and my team. Please don't forget to subscribe and come back for more. I am Nantawazam Kulu.